Off the bat, just so everyone's aware, this is not a meme video. This is a rant video about a topic that kind of pisses me off. All right. Um, as for the meme we're actually talking about, I am a surgeon. That shit. No, the meme itself is fucking hilarious. It's really, really funny. I have laughed until I cried for like 2 days straight just looking up I am a surgeon videos. I love that shit. Okay. What makes me pissed off is the people who are trying to moralize about the topic of the meme itself and about the topic of autism. Autism is a frustrating topic. Let's get it out of the way because of the advent of something I vehemently disagree with, but it is established medical practice to consider autism as a spectrum. Okay, now I have a disorder I grew up with that I was born with, and I don't like talking about it very much because I'm ashamed of it because it's not cool. It doesn't make me interesting. It doesn't make me unique. It all but ruined my life for a lot of my life. It sucked. It's called bipolar disorder, and it's something that was misdiagnosed multiple times as an autism spectrum disorder called Asperger's. I do not have that. I don't have autism. However, what I guess I am, according to the TikTok Z generation, is a neuro-divergent, or I'm not neurotypical or whatever. Meanwhile, I'm a normal person with, normal behavior and everything. I just have to deal with something that fucks me up from time to time that causes, periods of mania and depression. It's not fun to deal with. It's not cool. It's not interesting. I get no kudos. No bitches come from this. I don't understand why there's this whole generation of people who think in order to be different from other people, to be interesting, that they have to have some kind of disease that actually sucks for the people who have it. The other thing is, again, the concept of autism as a spectrum, because there's things like Asperger's disorder. And what does Asperger's syndrome mean? It means you're not very good socially and you're kind of a cunt. I grew up with a lot of people who have that disorder. I've had multiple best friends who have it, and they're not particularly smarter than anyone else. They're not dumb either. They're just kind of cunts, and either you get their sense of humor or you don't. And me, it may have a lot to do with the disorder I have. I'm kind of an asshole. Is it anything to be proud of? No, not really. At least not in this vein that we're talking about it in. So there's a lot of people who look at this show, The Good Doctor, and they call it blackface for autism or something. First of all, what that guy has is real autism. Antisocial, barely functional to non-functional freakout autism. Now, some people who have other disorders, borderline personality, histrionic personality, oppositional defiance, manic depression, all that shit, they also have freakouts. And what does it look like? A lot of people think, oh, the guy who's playing the good doctor, what's his name? Something Highland or something, Matthew Highland or whatever his name is. Oh, he's overacting. No, he isn't. No, he fucking isn't. I have seen just that sort of freak out in dozens of people, adults, children, teenagers, my entire life. That is a highly accurate, picture perfect textbook autism shit fit. That is what that looks like. That is real. The only thing that's wrong is that he didn't flop around on the floor or start throwing the fucking furniture. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to everyone else in the audience. If you know anybody who has autism, you know that shit's real. You know that shit happens all the time. It sucks. It's shameful. It's embarrassing for the people around it and the person it's happening to. It's not cool. It sucks, okay? And maybe that I can be honest with myself and know that as a kid and even as a teenager, I had very similar freakouts. I've seen thousands of such freakouts in other people that was so fucking highly accurate that, yeah, I just burst out laughing the first time I saw it. But let's also talk about the actual context of the television show. That this guy is a medical surgeon who, does surgeries on people. Now, in my opinion, medical dramas are among the least realistic television shows to exist. There's no realism whatsoever, be it on House or ER or Grey's Anatomy or any of this shit. It's ridiculous soap opera hyper reality. It's absurd. But even if we take the Savant character, I watch plenty of detective procedurals and stuff with savant characters who have a particular talent and are somewhat antisocial or kind of weird or strange. I've watched a lot of House or The Mentalist. I like shows like this. But when it comes to autism, at least as far as like Asperger's disorder, and I've seen multiple people say this, that it's more accurate to say that House acts like a person with autism is then he's a cunt. He is completely socially inept and bizarre and selfish, and has an incredibly solipsistic view of the world. Yeah, okay, there's that. But what's weird is thinking about a guy like Dr. Gregory House being a medical doctor and not being fired and having his license stripped from him. Ridiculous. Then you take the autismo guy, Shane or whatever the character's name is. There's no way he could be a surgeon. No. And not only that, there's no way even if somebody tried it that he wouldn't be fired in the exact same way that Dr. Han fires him, where he says, like, look, you need to be able to keep your shit under control. I don't want to fire you. I want to keep you as a diagnostician. You're really good at diagnosing illnesses and shit, and telling the surgeons, like, here's what you should be cutting out of a person, that maybe you just shouldn't be a surgeon because you're a lunatic. And no, I am a surgeon. I am a surgeon. Dr. Han. No. And then me like being curious and looking up subsequent scenes in the show and realizing that Dr. Han was fired for firing the kid. And I'm like, and I love how flatly it's played where, and I'm reading comments that are from when the show was current. So people who have no concept of this scene as a meme are watching this going, so Dr. Han's reasoning with him. He's trying to keep him chill. He's trying to say, look, I can't have you endangering patients, and you need to be able to communicate to do the job you want to do. Here's a job that I think you can do, and you should just do this job, and if you do it well, you will continue to have more responsibility. And the kid just throws a shit fit. And then, when he goes in front of the review board in a subsequent scene and he goes like, look, like I stand by my decision. It's ludicrous for you to expect me to reverse this decision. And how can I have my position as head of this department if I am not in charge of my people, and I can't expect my people to act professionally and to not throw a shit fit in the fucking surgery room. Okay. And it really heartens me to see memes like this where even the generation of people who all want to fake having Tourette's syndrome in order to be cool, or to fake having autism, or to fake having depression so that people will give them attention, that there is still plenty of people of this generation that looks at what autism looks like and goes, that's not cool. That's cringy to the point of hilarity. That is hilarious cringe. Because it is. Because it is. Like, you can't help but just laugh when you're faced with that kind of absurdity. But I can kind of understand a bunch of autistic people going, this isn't funny. This isn't funny. Well, why is it not funny? Why? Because it's embarrassing. Because it's something that you're probably ashamed of. And then there are people, of course, mad at the fact that the show portrays autistic people as all having Savant syndrome. Well, first of all, anybody who's making that complaint doesn't have the kind of autism that comes with Savant syndrome. Because again, you're a socially inept jackass, and then you're barely functioning, chest slapping, rocking back and forth, might not even be verbal, but you can hand draw the New York skyline to photographic perfection from memory. That's Savant syndrome. Or you can play an entire symphony just after listening to it one time. That's Savant syndrome. And usually, yeah, the autistic people who can do that cannot function at all. They can't have normal lives, they can't have normal jobs, and they can't make pissy fucking YouTube comments about being misrepresented by a stupid medical soap opera. All right? So, to end with just my personal relation to the meme, having grown up, not just myself having a disorder, which sucks, that made me struggle to function, I was always put in those kind of classrooms for troubled kids. And in those classrooms, I was with everything from people with full-blown nonverbal rocking back and forth autism, kids with Down syndrome, kids with Asperger's disorders, kids with clear sociopathy issues, kids that were like mentally just fucked up from trauma and shit. I've seen all of it. And It's not fun, it's not cool, but what's also really annoying is watching a bunch of these people who have these disorders where I would be sympathetic with them normally, but they go, "Oh, I'm not responsible for my own actions because I have a disorder. Oh, I can't be expected to meet my responsibilities as a student because I have this disorder. Oh, I don't have to treat people with respect and decency because I have a disorder. I don't really get people." No, you're a cunt. You're an asshole, or you're a sociopath. You're not a misunderstood person with a disease. You're a dick. Um, and either way, if you can't take responsibility for your own actions, or you can barely function in a social professional environment, you should not be a surgeon. You understand? I've met, of course, my fair share of people with various mental disorders who hold down like burger flipping type jobs, and they're incredibly intelligent. It's just they can't handle the pressure of more affluent, interesting jobs, and oftentimes the pressure is another word for the responsibility of it. They don't can't handle that, and I've experienced a lot of that in my own life. I'm a smart guy, but I don't like awkward social situations. I have to separate myself from people when I get pissed off, because it's pretty easy for me to make a fucking fool of myself when in an argument with somebody. Okay, and I have to know, okay, my fucking blood is fucking boiling and I'm gonna act a fucking spurg unless I disengage and cool off. And I am responsible for that. I don't get to scream at somebody and say I am a surgeon and then just expect to get everything I want handed to me. And the people who do that disgust me. So seeing that kind of thing, that I have a personal connection to the concept of somebody just being a selfish shit fit thrower, and also seeing how funny it is when somebody, yeah, completely loses their shit. Unless it's you losing your shit, then it's not funny at all. It's extremely fucking embarrassing, as it should be. And I absolutely do not believe that society has any responsibility to be doting and caring and pat you on the back and not judge you for throwing fits in public. You are not supposed to, and I don't give a shit what disorder you have. I have a disorder. I'm not supposed to. Nobody should cut me slack if I pull an I am a surgeon in public either. Okay? And that's all I should fucking say on this subject. And unfortunately, shit with of this topic, this whole mental health thing, is so widespread that even if you, or even if somebody in your immediate family doesn't have an issue like this, you probably know somebody pretty well who does. And it's not funny. And unfortunately, a lot of these people get prescribed medication that makes them drastically worse. You see somebody who's just kind of a problem child and a class clown get turned into a shit fit thrower school shooter because he's on serotonin reuptake inhibitors that fuck his whole brain up. I mean, the whole mental health thing, whether it's with autism spectrum disorder or any of the above, is a scary place to be. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. It's not cool. It's not fun. It's not interesting. It sucks ass. Okay, it's not anything enviable. But I also don't believe it's anything to be pitied. People who have these kind of problems don't deserve your pity, and if they're out there looking for it, you're not going to have a healthy relationship with that person. You can't have a healthy relationship with anybody who's constantly demanding pity from you. Don't engage in that bullshit, okay? At all. And don't do it. Don't be one of these fucking people, because everyone will look down on you, and rightly so, because you're a fucking cunt. You understand? Thanks for watching.